Howdy folks, Nathan here with a 2023 Lexus GX 460. And guess what? It's the last of the Toyota trucks that has a V8 engine. And yes, truck. As a matter of fact, there are very few vehicles in this class that actually have a frame truck and a V8. They're all going away. In this video, I'm going to talk about the engine, but more importantly, I'm going to talk about the 5 things I like and perhaps dislike about the brand new GX. One of the likes, say konnichiwa to Nori Green Pearl. I absolutely adore this color, but there's a problem, which is if it gets dark, then you can't really tell how cool it is, but in the sunlight, you can really see the sparkle. It's got an excellent metallic look to it. Another like, I'm pointing here. Now it doesn't have anything to do with this 18-inch black painted wheel, which by the way, is part of this package. No, it's what's inside, a little bit further in. That is a solid rear axle, my friends, and that is awesome for going into the rough and great for... Another thing I enjoy is, it's a two-part thing here, okay. Yes, love it when you can open the glass separately. Great for utility. And it also helps because this door opens like so. Now, when I start talking about the dislikes, the door will be mentioned yet again. But I wanted to talk about the fact that when you open the door, it is so easy just to open this and to put stuff inside. Another positive is the fact that Lexus builds outstanding interiors, and the GX is absolutely no slouch. Great seats, very comfortable. And for people who are tall, your butt just slides right onto the seat. You're not falling into it. You don't have to climb up to it. So at least if you're in the 6-foot zone, it's great. There are a lot of new components over here because they recently changed the screen and thus some of the infotainment setup, and they also set up a pad, and we're going to come back to this pad later on. But by doing this, they were also able to create a much nicer looking, easier to use infotainment system, which includes, if you do get it, a Mark Levinson system, 17 speakers. I said 17. This is something else I like. This is a 4.6 liter V8 built by Toyota. This whole vehicle was built in Japan, by the way, for those of you who are curious. And it puts out 301 horsepower, 329 pound-feet of torque, and it's hooked up to a 6-speed automatic transmission. It feeds a proper 4x4 system. This one does not have the optional off-road system, but it still has one that is very capable and able to go off-road. This configuration allows you to tow up to 6,500 pounds. Those are all positives. Here's one final positive before we go the other direction. I can almost guarantee you that this will be one of the most reliable trucks you will own in the luxury class. These things are legendary for getting 250,000 miles on the original engine and transmission or more. Keep that in mind. Ooh, sounds pretty good. V8, remember? Yeah. Okay, so another thing, I was going to throw it in the positives, I just didn't have the chance, which is it drives great. Buttery smooth, despite the fact it's on coil spring suspension. Drives fantastic. Yeah, you throw it around a corner, it's not a sports car, but it's a truck, right? And around the city, around town, no problemos. Off-road, it does the job. So yeah, great driving vehicle. Everything in life is a little bit of give and take, and that includes this powertrain because despite the fact it's got some pretty good grunt, it's not efficient, not at all. Combined MPG is 16. Now granted, this is a heavy machine, it's well over 5,000 pounds, but yeah, it's not very good MPG. Something interesting that many of you may not know, and that is that these used GXs going back many, many years are becoming very popular for people to convert into overlanders and off-roaders. And part of the reason why is the underpinnings, well, frankly speaking, they're really stout. This is a proper four-wheel drive vehicle underneath the skin, but there's a problem. And that has to do with approach, breakover, and departure. Example, with this massive chin, the approach angle is 21 degrees. There are sports cars that pretty much match that. Breakover angle, 21 degrees. Part of that has to do with this step. You lose this, things change. And departure angle, 23 degrees. Honestly, none of those numbers are good. Remember how I was saying that this is built in Japan? That's right, which is awesome. This thing is built like a drum, absolutely solid, tight, but it's built in Japan. As such, imagine pulling up to an American street corner. Your sidewalk would be over here. A car may be parked, right about where I'm standing. Here's the issue. Much as I love these doors for how easy they open, they obscure something. Oh, that something would be a sidewalk. Yeah. So if there's a car parked close to you back here, access to the sidewalk is obscured as well. Another issue is the third row seat. Now, for those of you who are curious, yes, it comes standard with a third row seat, but it's not the easiest seat simply to unfold. It's not the easiest seat to get into, and it frankly isn't very big. So there are some things I wanted to point out. For one thing, this seat, in order for it just to open up, right, to fold the right way, see if I can, there we go. You have to have this seat like this, and then that will raise and you can put up the headrest. Then, and I have long arms, you have to get in here, and then, come on. There we go, I got it. There it is. Man, this ain't easy. See my point? Then, if this seat is slid all the way up, you could get a small adult here, but their knees would be about this high. The bottom line is that the third row seat really is good for kids or adults you don't like. Final thing I wanted to talk about that I'm not a huge fan of is right here. And I know I'm not the only one. And I know people have said, well, Lexus says that it's better now. It's not great. This is the touchpad. Now, the touchpad control basically goes directly to this 10.3-inch screen. The screen itself, I think, is fine in terms of size. It's on the small side, I think, especially if you look at it this way, just not very tall, but it's fine, it's fine. Thing is, this pad is oversensitive, and while I'm driving, I hate using it. I hate using it. So being able to touch the screen and do things is great, and I highly recommend simply doing that and not messing with this pad. Remember earlier I was talking about how there aren't that many vehicles that actually directly compete with this? And I know you're saying Audi, BMW, Genesis, Mercedes-Benz. No, none of those vehicles are trucks. I'm talking about a truck. It's a luxury truck, but it's a truck nonetheless. So really we're talking about vehicles that come in from Infiniti, the QX80, which is larger than this, but not as off-road capable. It's actually a little bit more expensive than this one. Yes, GMC, I guess you could say that I would compete directly with this at the base model level, because you can get a V8 and it is a 3-row SUV. Once again, not as off-road capable potentially as this one, not out of the box at least. And then I decided to do a little extra research and I forgot about the Jeep Wagoneer, not the Grand Wagoneer, just the Wagoneer. The base model, 4-wheel drive with nothing in it, is about the same price as this. Why do I mention all that? Because this vehicle, for its price, this particular one, its MSRP with this package is lower than everything I just mentioned. I have here the sticker, and the MSRP for this vehicle with all its options comes out to $62,460. Now, as I said before, I looked at competitors in the same price category, and this thing undercut most of them. Now, bear in mind, this 460 is actually kind of the entry-level one. As a matter of fact, its main option is the Blackline Special Edition, and that's it. Without that, it would be $57,575. So with that, it's an additional $4,735. Now, with that, you get the 18-inch wheels with the black finish, this particular color, because it's otherwise impossible to get, which is a shame. I think it's gorgeous. You get the tonneau cover and a courtesy delivery sticker. Honestly, I don't think that's should be part of that. Okay. Anyway, point is that it's kind of a bargain for what you're getting if you're willing to sacrifice a few things, because remember, this is still a primitive truck. Yeah, it has like 8.1 inches of ground clearance. It's because of those side skirts and everything else. And if you take it off-road, you will get body damage if you go crazy, but it's so damn rugged, it'll get you home most likely. Also, let's say you wanted to make, I don't know, more of an off-road vehicle. Well, you can do that. There is a $1,570 deal that you can get for this vehicle, and it is their off-road package. And that'll get you a transmission oil cooler, a fuel tank protector, which is really important because it does hang down just a hair, crawl control, multi-terrain select, and multi-terrain monitor with panoramic view monitor. All those things really do work quite well. But at the end of the day, if you're going to take this thing off-road, you are going to encounter issues with its approach, departure, and breakover angle. All of those things can be fixed if you're willing to put some money in it. I really wish that Lexus would do that themselves. I've seen concept vehicles that they've produced that have better approach, departure, and breakover angles. Regardless, if you were to ask me, amongst all the vehicles it competes against directly, if I were to get this over those, I would say, well, before you finished your sentence, yes. Why? Because it's bulletproof. These things run forever. And I rarely go on a rant about that, but that's exactly what this vehicle is. One of the most reliable vehicles in its class. Don't take it from me. Go ahead and look it up. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you next time.